something I did on Google Earth as well. I just got a picture of the Milky Way, and I sort of overlaid it. And this will give you an idea that it's a close enough match. Again, you have to satisfy yourself, as with all things, you have to satisfy yourself that this is a match. So you go out yourself and find yourself the best picture, most high definition picture of the Milky Way. You do the same regarding the moon, and you bring up the two pertinent areas, and you will allow whatever your skills allow. You go clarify this to yourself. So let me bring this picture up. This will only take a few seconds. Okay. Right, there you go. I hope you can see my screen. Let me just check on the watch page. It'll take a few seconds now, but it's a 2-second delay. There you go. Perfect. So what I've done is, this is not perfect by any means, but I have confirmed in detail when I zoomed in on different areas. Let me just bring this up to scratch. This is the original picture I used for comparison against pictures of the moon. I have them down here. Look, there's a picture of the moon. It's just a standard picture. You can find them anywhere. Take it that it's not doctored, and this isn't even the best. You can go into a big degree, and you once you go in a bit too far, though, you lose that clarity. So that's all it is. Standard picture of the moon, and it's the same with, here we go, same with the Milky Way here. Standard picture, easily found. Just type in the Milky Way galaxy or the Great Rift, and you'll find this picture, and we take it that this is accurate as well because it's to be found everywhere. Yeah, so let me reduce that. I'm just going to go into, yeah. That seems to be grand. That seems to be working okay, fine. So that's all I've done here. So I've imported very basic skills, if you want to call them that. I've imported this picture of the Milky Way in, and I've sort of stretched it a little bit and rotated it until it's in a sort of it's in accordance with the big swathe from the two particular craters. Right. So let me just turn down the so that we can see through this. Right. So here we have, hang on, the other way. Here we have eratosthenes. See it? As a crater, eratosthenes is season out of Earth. And all the way around, eudoxus, which is a perfect anagram of euexodus. So you leave. Season on Earth, you leave. It's almost as if these names were chosen, and it's as if that this was waiting to be discovered. And once we discovered this, then there's no going back. So what I did was overlaid the Milky Way image, line it up as best I can, right? But you'll be able to see, once I increase the opacity, you'll be able to see. I should have left the trails here, but you get a good enough view. I should have left the trails here. You can see it clearer in, let me just bring this up for a second. See it clearer here. Okay. It's just pretty much from here, all the way around. That's all it is. And it sticks out like a sore thumb, it does. That's all it is. That's all you're looking at here. Simple as that. Ways across from eratosthenes to eudoxus or euxus. So I just overlaid the Milky Way. There you go. So just going back and forth. You can see it's as close as be damned, isn't it? Absolutely perfectly, but it's pretty close. What I've done is, if you look at this area here, where you have what might be classed as been solid matter, and then you have a little break in dark matter, and then you have a solid island sticking out here. That's one reference point, but also a few of the ridges down here as well. It overlays pretty well. So this is just a superficial visual to tell you, well, there's some similarities there. Once you go into detail, as I have done, and you see it's an absolute match. It's not a coincidence. It's nothing just peculiar or just by cosmic chance or something. One is a direct we were looking at one and the same thing, no matter what the differences are. That's to be explained or attempted to be explained later. It's coming through okay, and just opaque, less opaque. Okay. Once again, everyone is free to do this themselves. And the big question you should be asking yourself is, sure, we can see the Milky Way bold here, but if you type into Google Images, you will see it in a straight line. You will see it slightly bold like this, and then you'll also see it very bold, almost like a U bend. It's so bold up. First of all, we know the heliocentric model and everything associated with this nonsense. Explain that, but how could flat earthers explain this as well? This is another poser for people who are on board the flat earth and are looking for explanations for these things. I again will offer the explanation that it's simply, you have to take into account you're dealing with a contoured barrier. Depending on the particular positioning of this area of light energy projection, you will get either a straight line, you'll either get a curved bow or a greater curved bow. It's all just completely dependent on whereabouts against the reflective surface that it is reflecting against. And as the contour above is, as the barrier above is contoured, then we have to take these things into consideration. And for me, it's clear as day. So that's all I've done. I can move this up to show you. I can move this up and around, but it was pretty close where it was. So that's a superficial view as to the similarities between the two sections there. And I've gone into greater detail. Let me get rid of this. I can do that for a little bit. I've already gone into, I had 5 points of similarity. And this is a secondary investigation. I have, the best thing to do would be, actually that would be the good, I'll do that. If I just reverse what I've done, then you'll be able to get a better picture. As you see here, I've matched these pretty perfectly, and you can see there's an intimate relationship between these two, but one is a little more stretched, and that's what you'd expect as well. You have to remember you're dealing with different sort of scale pictures, but you're also dealing with reflection, one of the other. Again, the moon is the interface of the sun. The Milky Way is a part of the interface of the sun as it's been reflected against the contoured barrier. It might take you might take a while to wrap your head around that, but so be it. My head is wrapped around it anyway. As Mark Sargent has pointed out, we are living in a big light projection. We're living in a planetarium to a big degree, and yeah, everything is right there. I think the best thing to do is just, I'll just sort of undo what I did. Hope it undoes now, because so let me get that in central position. Yes, it's fine now. So I just picked this area where this jetty is sort of sticking out, and I equated that to this area. There's so many different points of similarity as well. This is a secondary sort of examination. Upon further examination, it's a perfect match. At this stage, it's 100% match. But what I'll do is just briefly undo what I've done. And then redo them. Okay. Yeah, I'll do undo for both of them. It's your central point here. This is an amazing starting point. You see the two dots. Remember, this is the Milky Way. This is the moon. You see the two dots in the orientation they are. You can see the same two dots in here. So let me just redo one by one. I joined the two dots. I joined the two dots. No, I didn't. Hang on. All right. I just did that in a little bit of a different order. There you go. So I just did that. But these are not going to match it, I don't think, actually. Hang on. Oh yeah, there. Okay, that's cool. Remember, it's the position is a bit skewed. The face of the moon is the face of the sun. The way itself is an aspect of the face of the sun as it's projected onto this contoured surface. So there's the next piece. Yeah. Hope you're with me. Is the next piece. Start, you have to zoom in. Again, you have to zoom in to see some of these features, but that's the beauty, and even that's the necessity about all of this. You have to clarify this for yourself. Go and get yourself a picture of the moon, get yourself a picture of the Milky Way galaxy, and try disprove it. Try disprove it. After a certain point, you'll realize that you won't be able to. So that's about it. I think that's the last connection there, isn't it? That's it. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 connection points. Again, I took a different section, and it's clear as day. And the other section matches up as well. So for me, that's 100% confirmed, and it's 100% confirmable by everybody who notion seriously. Where you go from that in terms of your overall explanation as to what's going on, well, that's up to you. I've only offered my thoughts upon it, and I can only say that in a limited sense that I can be satisfied with my thoughts in it. I am satisfied with it. You know, fantastical as it all is. So yeah, let me just briefly go for and